What if I told you the Lakers might have just made the kind of decision that wins you a championship or quietly kills your dynasty before it even peaks? And what if the proof of that decision isn't in a blockbuster trade or a shocking lineup change, but hidden in plain sight in the contracts of the two players who are supposed to define our future? Imagine realizing that the guy built to carry us for the next decade is actually set to make less than the player whose best days might already be behind him. Would you call that loyalty or a dangerous mistake? And if so, are we as Lakers fans ready to face the truth about where our team's money, faith, and future are really being placed? Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where we go beyond the surface and dig into the real heartbeat of the purple and gold. Even if it makes us a little uncomfortable, smash that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because what I'm about to lay out could reshape how you look at this roster for the next 5 years. The headline sounds simple enough on the surface. Anthony Davis is set to make around $25 million, more than Luka Doncic over the next 3 seasons. But the truth is, that sentence carries more weight than most people realize. This isn't just about salary numbers on paper, it's about what those numbers say about the Lakers' priorities, their future strategy, and even their ability to compete for championships in the tight window we all know is closing. On one hand, you have Davis, a 32-year-old big man with a Hall of Fame resume, a championship ring from 2020, and undeniable two-way skill when he's on the court. On the other hand, you have Doncic, a 26-year-old guard in his prime, built for the modern NBA, and arguably with more upside right now than Davis ever had. And yet, the financial commitment favors the older, more injury-prone star by tens of millions. Could this mean the Lakers are clinging tightly to their past? Is it possible that sentimentality and loyalty to a player who helped deliver a title are clouding their ability to make cold, calculated decisions for the future? Some insiders believe that by paying Davis more, the Lakers are effectively tying themselves to a version of the roster that's already peaked, rather than pivoting fully to the era that Doncic represents. And that's where this gets complicated. Because we all love AD. We know what he's capable of. When he's healthy, he can anchor a defense like few in the league. He can dominate matchups, and when he's locked in, he looks like a generational talent. But the key words there are, when he's healthy. History hasn't been kind on that front. Davis has missed 26 or more games in 5 of the last 7 seasons. Back problems have started to show that dreaded recurring label. While he had that one Ironman season in 2023-24 with 76 games played, even the most optimistic fans would admit they hold their breath every time he goes down after a hard foul. Contrast that with Doncic. Yes, he's had his share of minor injuries, but outside of a calf issue last season, he's been relatively available. And now, after a summer where he transformed his body, gracing the cover of Men's Health and looking leaner and quicker than ever, it's hard not to feel like the best years of his career are about to unfold right here in Los Angeles. So why, then, is the team paying Davis more? Some will argue that it's simply the nature of when the contracts were signed. Davis' $186 million extension kicks in this year, while Doncic's $165 million deal, though massive, starts from a different baseline. But even knowing the mechanics, fans are asking, shouldn't the financial hierarchy reflect the pecking order on the court? Shouldn't the younger superstar, the one who's expected to carry this franchise into the late 2020s, be the highest paid player on the team? Or is the front office signaling that, for now, this is still Davis and LeBron's team, and Luka's turn will come later? That's another layer here, the LeBron factor. LeBron and AD came to LA as a package deal in many ways, their partnership delivering that elusive 17th banner. Even as LeBron moves deeper into his 40s, his voice in personnel decisions remains powerful. Could this salary setup be partially about maintaining stability and chemistry with LeBron's trusted co-star, rather than disrupting the balance by putting Luka financially above AD? If so, is that a wise move for a franchise that needs to start building an identity around its future rather than its past? Fans are split. Some believe keeping AD happy and committed is essential, especially if LeBron plays another season or 2. Others are worried this is a classic Lakers trap, holding onto a star past his peak because of what he's done rather than what he's going to do. And the risk is clear. If AD's health declines, his production dips, and his salary still eats up a massive chunk of the cap, the flexibility to build the right roster around Doncic shrinks dramatically. That's how dynasties fade quietly, not because they lack stars, but because they can't surround them with the right supporting cast. Consider this. Luka Doncic is the kind of player you can hand the keys to for a decade. The Western Conference Finals appearances and one NBA Finals trip before even turning 27. A game that blends scoring, playmaking, and leadership in a way that draws comparisons to the all-time great guards, pairing him with the right mix of athletic wings, versatile defenders, and floor spacers could open a window that rivals the Warriors' recent run, or even the Spurs' dynastic years. But to do that, you need financial agility. You need to be able to make moves when the opportunity presents itself, and the more money locked into an aging, injury-prone star, the less room you have to maneuver. Of course, there's also the argument that this is just how the NBA works. Sometimes you overpay for the past because it's the cost of keeping the present intact. The Lakers brand is built on stars, and Davis is still a marketable name, still a player who can drop 40 in a playoff game and completely alter a series. Could this salary structure be less about actual value and more about optics, showing loyalty to a star who's been part of the fabric of the franchise for half a decade? Maybe, but even if that's true, does it make sense when the next face of the franchise is already here, already proving he's the one who should be prioritized? Some insiders believe this could also be a sign of the Lakers' long-term plan. Ride out the LeBron AD era for another 2 to 3 years, even if it costs more, then fully pivot to Luka as the centerpiece with a refreshed cap sheet. In that scenario, Luka's slightly lower pay now could be offset by a massive extension in the future, one that could make him the highest paid player in NBA history. And honestly, given the way the salary cap is projected to rise, that's entirely possible. But until then, the optics are going to keep fueling debates among fans, analysts, and maybe even inside the locker room, because here's the truth: money talks in the NBA. Salaries send messages. They tell players where they stand. They tell fans what the organization values. And they shape the narrative around who the franchise belongs to right now. The numbers say this is still AD's team, even as Luka's presence grows larger every day. Could that change? Absolutely. But until it does, every big game, every injury scare, every playoff run will be viewed through this lens. Is the investment in AD still worth it? Or is it delaying the inevitable handoff to Luka? But what do you think about all of this? Personally, as a Lakers supporter, I believe this decision is a gamble, one that could pay off if AD stays healthy and dominant, but could just as easily backfire if Luka ends up carrying more of the load without being treated as the franchise's top priority. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you're as hyped as I am for Lakers News Fan Report, smash that like button. Subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the drama in purple and gold, because right now, the conversation about Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic's salaries isn't just a number-crunching debate. It's a mirror reflecting exactly where this franchise is headed, and the implications are stretching far beyond this season's stat sheets. When you put this into the bigger picture, it's not just about AD's 3-year $186 million extension outpacing Luka's $165 million deal. It's about what those numbers say to the locker room, to potential free agents, and even to the rest of the Western Conference. Could this mean the Lakers are intentionally anchoring their short-term identity around Davis, betting that his presence alongside LeBron gives them the best shot to win now, even if it risks limiting the flexibility to build fully around Luka? Fans are wondering if this could be the turning point, where the balance of power inside the Lakers hierarchy subtly shifts or refuses to shift, depending on how the season unfolds. Imagine the rotation choices Darvin Ham faces if he has to keep AD happy with touches and minutes, while also ensuring Luka's usage rate stays high enough to justify making him the franchise's long-term face. Add LeBron into the mix, still a night leader for 7-8 machine when healthy, and suddenly you have a puzzle where each piece wants to be the centerpiece, yet all three must coexist. Is it possible that keeping the financial edge with Davis is also about keeping LeBron's trust? We know his influence reaches into roster construction, and he's always been vocal about having a frontcourt partner he can rely on when playoff basketball turns into a grind. Some insiders believe this financial structure could ripple into how younger players like Bronny James and Austin Reeves develop this year. If Davis' status as the higher-paid star means he commands more post touches and half-court sets, Does that slow down the pace and limit opportunities for Luka to run the floor and for guys like Reeves to benefit from his kick-out passes? Or could it, ironically, open up more catch-and-shoot chances if defenses collapse on AD in the paint? We've seen flashes of that balance working in spurts, but across an 82-game season, the chemistry between these three core pieces will dictate. Whether we're talking about playoff seeding in April or fishing trips in May, think about the ripple effects across the conference. The Nuggets are still formidable with Jokic and Murray. The Timberwolves are evolving into a dangerous two-way squad, and OKC looks like a team ready to leapfrog into the contender conversation if the Lakers are funneling this much of the cap into AD and Luka while LeBron's deal remains hefty. Every depth piece matters. Could this mean a veteran minimum signing or a trade deadline gamble becomes the make or break move? Magic Johnson tweeted earlier this week that Luka's arrival has to mean more than just wins. It has to mean a culture reset, which raises another question. Does this salary dynamic send the right message about whose team this really is? On social media, the reactions have been split. Some fans are posting highlights of AD's 2023-24 defensive domination and saying, "This is why you pay him." Others are splicing together Luka's finals runs in Dallas and his clutch time heroics to argue, "This is Luka's time act." Like it. The analysts are weighing into Brian Windhorst mentioned on air that the Lakers are threading a very fine needle between honoring AD's value and making Luka feel like the future. That's the tightrope, and as any Lakers fan knows, walking it without falling means staying healthy, winning consistently, and avoiding the kind of locker room tension that can quietly derail a season. From a tactical standpoint, if the Lakers want this to work, the offense has to be reimagined. Picture a staggered rotation where Luka runs the second unit for stretches, pushing the pace and creating mismatches, while AD anchors the defense with the starters. Could this mean more small ball lineups with LeBron at the 4 and AD protecting the rim, or will they lean on more traditional sets to keep everyone's rhythm steady? Some insiders believe the Lakers might experiment heavily in the regular season, just to find the formula before the playoffs. That's risky, but given the stakes, may be necessary. And then there's the looming question of durability. We can't ignore that AD's track record means every awkward landing will make Lakers fans hold their breath. Luka, meanwhile, will be logging heavy minutes to justify his role and keep the team competitive in the brutal West. Is it possible that this financial and on-court dynamic could lead to over-reliance on one or the other at different points of the season, leaving them gassed or banged up come playoff time? The Western Conference rivals will be watching closely. The Suns might tweak their big three if they smell vulnerability in LA. The Warriors could get aggressive at the deadline, and even Memphis, with Yao Moore healthy, could crash the playoff picture. Every one of those moves will be influenced by how the Lakers' star hierarchy is perceived. Are they stable and dangerous, or unbalanced and exploitable? Personally, I keep coming back to the symbolism in a league where money often equals status. Paying AD more than Luka right now is a statement. Whether it's a smart one depends entirely on results. If the Lakers ride this trio deep into June and hang banner 18, nobody will care about the accounting. But if we're sitting here in a year talking about an early exit, wasted prime years for Luka, and no real flexibility to adjust, then this will be remembered as a misstep that was hiding in plain sight from day one. Now, as the season heats up, what will define LA as destiny clinging to the proven partnership of LeBron and AD, or fully empowering Luka to take the reins? Personally, as a die-hard Lakers supporter, I believe this could go down as one of the boldest balancing acts in franchise history. Brilliant if it works, painful if it doesn't. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts, and subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report so you never miss another explosive update.